Were you trying to text me and say, "Hey, I'm here. Where are you?"
I did it psychically today.
I could hear you.
I felt the vibrations were right. Did you change your background?
No, I'm still in the front room.
It looks more colorful today.
It's just that kind of day. But could you hear me psychically saying, "I'm hurrying. I'll be there in a minute."
Yes, I did. I'm going to turn that up just a hair, sound-wise. Yes, and for all of our people out there, are we live? We are live.
We
that
are
are
live.
celebrating the new year. Happy New Year, my friends. May you be blessed.
Yeah. I second that.
Yeah, it's a wonderful day. No wonder it's such great energy today.
It is. New moon. No.
Yes.
No
I have a mussing.
retrograde.
I had a wondering, and I did look it up. Why do they say why are eggs in the dairy section? Because eggs are not dairy.
I know, they're not dairy. So why are they?
Because people use them while they're baking was the best answer I could find. Like,
Makes
and
sense.
it's refrigerated, but I'm like, yeah.
They do refrigerate them, and they don't need to be refrigerated, but they refrigerate them.
Well, I think maybe when I get mine from my neighbor, I don't have to refrigerate them, but I'm wondering if, because they pass through so many people's hands by the time they actually get to our kitchen, if we get them in the grocery store, might be a good idea that they've been refrigerated.
Yeah, it's yeah. We don't want to go into all the egg thing.
No, but I was just like, why? Why do they say egg? Eggs are not dairy, and even on the food pyramid,
Sometimes they say
don't
dairy and
belong in
eggs.
dairy. They belong in poultry and meats.
Sometimes I've seen it say dairy and eggs. Dairy
Oh,
milk or dairy milk and eggs, and I'm not quite sure why it'd be
milk
dairy
is
and
dairy.
milk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think.
And then, wait, you won't believe what the conversation, you go down the Google rabbit hole. If you are a vegan and you want your child to be vegan, is breast milk considered vegan?
If you're a cannibal.
But a cannibal can't be a vegan.
I think the vegan definition says animal. I think it's animal byproducts.
Are we not an animal?
I think we're not in the animal kingdom. We're in the human
We're not in the
kingdom.
animal
I
kingdom.
think
We're mammals. We're mammals.
I think
Isn't
we
that part
are,
of the
but I
animal
think
kingdom?
I don't think people. Well, I don't think the vegans put themselves in the animal thing. Because if they did, then they couldn't give them breast milk, right? Which makes sense. But there's a lot of that. Those.
I had too much time on my hands around when I woke up this morning. I was like, it's early.
Time on my hands. Too much
I woke up at
time
like
on my
5:30. Oh, and you're singing today. Wait, let's hear it again.
I was doing the stick song. Too much time on my hands. Too much time on my hands. So you had so much time. You got to contemplate these deeper thoughts.
Yeah. And that wasn't even in my throne room. That was just like
the throne room this morning. That reminds me, this morning when I was on Instagram checking some things out, somebody posted, and this is I guess it's an old saying. There's an old proverb. I don't know. I want to say Tibetan, but I'm not sure of its origins because I don't remember that part. It's been 10 minutes. But the proverb goes, when a clown enters a palace, he does not become a sultan. The palace becomes a circus.
Hmm.
Your throne room is a throne room now.
Hmm.
But I thought that was I liked that proverb. I was like,
I do like
oh,
that.
yeah.
Now, when the Sultan enters the circus, does that not become a palace?
It does. That was the whole theme of the store, the thing that the person was writing
Did
on.
they tell the elephants that?
They sometimes elephants make better subjects, right? The whole conversation revolved around who you keep, who your circle of friends are.
Mm,
It's not where you're at that dictates what kind of person you are. It's the people you hang around with.
they do say that, and I was actually listening to somebody speak about that. About if you want to know someone, look at the 5 people they associate with the most.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Yes. Yep.
Well, I'm in pretty good company today, so
We are,
okay.
aren't we? We are. She hasn't cleaned house and gotten rid of me yet, so I'm in good shape. So I'm gonna venture a guess that you are home. You're home.
Yeah, I am in my home. I am. I stayed home because I had appointments. I had clients that I was going to see in person this weekend. Otherwise, and it is interesting to be here without anybody else's energies. Like, does Misty ever go off and then you're like there and you're like, yeah.
I'm waiting for some elaboration. Is that
Well,
towards
because I don't have Tarzuni anymore and Mikey's not here. And so it's like
okay.
there's no one to pay attention to but myself. And well,
How comfortable are you with that?
I love that. Um, Hence my mussings. Some of them were deeper, but I don't want to go right into it. I
We
thought I'd
could.
start with the lighter dairy and eggs thing.
We could go a little deeper here in a little bit once we kind of peel back this onion. Yes, yes, I agree with you. There are times like this weekend, I'm going to be going up to Punta Gorda for a fair. And so anybody in the area, come on out to the fair. It's going to be at the convention center,
Where is it?
Punta Gorda,
Punta Gorda. Okay.
which is just a little north of us. So I'm going to drive there and back. And the hours are going to be such that Misty needs to make other arrangements for getting to and from work. So her and Shelby said he would be more than happy to do the driving. And he suggested she stay at his place for the weekend, which means that so when I come back, so they're going to leave tonight. So tomorrow morning, I'll be on my own, getting up and doing my thing, coming home. I'll have the place kind of to myself other than the cat, and it'll be just me and then getting up in the morning and off to the fair and coming back, and she'll be back Sunday night. But yeah, it's that feeling of, your own little space where you're not, being a mother and or wife and taking care of business as we do sometimes, and I'm like you, I do enjoy that time alone because it gives me a chance to check in with myself, make sure I'm doing what I need to do and taking care of what I need to take care of. And
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And it was funny too, this past week. I guess it was Wednesday night. Um, had the opportunity to celebrate a friend's 50th birthday. And it was just nice because for the last year or so, Mike and I did things together at home. But if it was someplace out, one or the other of us would go because we couldn't leave Tarzan by himself for long lengths of time, or it would be a problem when we got home
Right,
we didn't
right.
want to deal with. And so we went up to La Belle. There was a wonderful restaurant up there. I think it's called the Independent.
Oh,
And my friend Kim, her birthday, it was absolutely wonderful. But Mike and I, we were like, wow, we don't have to worry about, okay, it's, we need to get home at, such and such. We can only, because it's an hour, it took over an hour to get.
yeah, that's a drive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a drive. And then it took a little less time coming home because no traffic. Going up, it was kind of like right after work. So a bit of traffic. But coming back, those roads are pretty darn dark.
Oh, yeah. Did you come in that one back highway? I
Yeah.
forget what highway that is, but yeah, it's just 2 lanes. There's no lights. It's farm country.
Yeah.
There's like yeah, it is dark. I don't mind doing that road during the day, and night's not too bad. I do not like it in the rain. That road is
Yeah.
really hard because it's
Right.
got ruts. You
Yes.
don't really see it when it's dry and you don't notice it, but when it rains, those ruts fill in with water, and it makes it a little
You
tem
complain. Yeah.
temperamental,
Yes.
treacherous.
Yes. Yes. The other thing I was like, really going up, so beautiful. You look out and
It
those
is.
oaks, how they just, when they have that whole field to grow and how they spread out at the bottom and the branch, they're so picturesque. It was
Yep.
like, oh, how beautiful. And then at night, you're just like, I mean, I was waiting for like the spaceship to come down or something. I mean, that's how dark it was, but and then you're coming into town, and you're always thinking, at least to me, the cars that are coming this way, it's just like, please, please,
Stay in your
please,
lane.
right on by safely, thank you, because you
Yeah.
just, you want, you can control your own driving, you can't control anybody else's. In fact, yesterday I was coming back from, I was an early reading specialist, so I've taken that up a little bit again here. And I was coming back from evaluating a young man, and there was a guy on Davis. His car, I saw it from way back. I could see cars going like, and I'm
All
wondering
over
what's
him.
going on. I thought he was either sleeping or he was drunk. Because when I finally, like, thank goodness it was 3 lanes, because we all were creeping over to the far lane. He was going up the median, down the median, coming over. I looked over and I saw him, like,
Oh, no.
and you just don't know when
Did you
that's
call
going to happen.
911?
I did.
Did you?
And they were
Good.
there within, I don't even think a minute passed. And I was pretty good, because I was like, I wasn't sure of the make of the car exactly, but I described it and the color. And he asked for a description of the man, and I described him. And literally, when I stopped at Collier, just I saw them pull right behind him, and then they were helping him out of the car. So I don't know. I mean, it could have been
Right.
medical, it could have been
Yeah,
anything.
you don't know, but he has no business behind the wheel, that's for sure. Yeah.
Right, but if you don't, yes, if you're tired or
Mhm.
you're under the influence, absolutely. But if you have a medical emergency, and just that's what I was thinking on that dark road, like, don't let, and then the next day it appears in front of me where, it's like, okay, thank you, I got it.
Right, right. Yeah, but yeah, that's a beautiful drive out there. We went on a family trip. We were going up north to see some family, and I had suggested that rather than just getting on, the major interstate, that we just maybe take some back highways up. And so we did. We took some back highways up, and it's kind of funny because as you go north, you're going south, right?
Yes,
so,
yes, yes.
so we were getting into the real southern belt, if you will. And you know what, I'm not going to be able to tell you exactly where this was because we were just kind of on the off-beaten highways, right? Little side roads almost, kind of like the one that you guys are traveling on. And I remember we looked over and we saw it was a museum, and it was a museum from the Civil War, and it was an old plantation house that was still standing from before the war, and it had in its front yard this huge oak tree, huge. The tree was there as long as that house, so it was over 100 years old, you know. It was just huge and beautiful, like you said, you know, when you can see those oaks when they can have their way. Oh my gosh.
Right, right,
The
right.
trunk was just huge. It was I don't think I've ever seen an oak that big, a live oak, you know, the live oak
Mm.
being that big.
Yeah, there were two oaks at that restaurant, and I'm pretty sure the name was the Independent. And it was Michael and I when we got out of the car, because you know Michael is a tree and yard man, and he was like, "Oh, I forgot how big they can get. You wonder how old they are because even with the two of us, we couldn't put our hands like
Yeah.
around the tree."
This was this one. This
Yeah,
is this one. It would have taken a lot of people. I don't know how many people. It would have taken a lot of people to be able to do it because we had Shelby stand in front of it, and he probably didn't even cover half the trunk when he stood
right,
in front of it. And
right,
he's a
right.
pretty big guy. So, yeah, and the umbrella, the
Yes.
canopy of the tree was crazy big, just
Wow.
crazy big. It just yeah, and it had a lot of the moss in it,
Okay.
the sphagnum moss or whatever. It
Right.
had that hanging out of it, and like you said, it gives you kind of an eerie look because, you know, that stuff just hangs really. Yeah, I wouldn't want to. You know, it was sunny and it was a beautiful day, so we were in awe of it. But I wouldn't have wanted to be there on a dark, rainy night. With a little bit of mist going, that would be like the perfect scene for like Chainsaw Massacre or something.
I've never seen it, but I don't even want to imagine it. But I was thinking,
Any horror movie.
don't watch them. Don't like them. I I don't even like when if something comes on the TV, I'm like until it's done, and then I'm like la
Right.
la 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 la. And Kristen Max love those ghost shows, and I'm like la 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 la
Yeah,
la.
I used to watch them when I was like in high school and stuff, high school and college and that kind of thing. Not so much anymore. I'm a little more sensitive to
Right.
the whole
Well,
creepy
I would know
heebie-jeebie thing.
When Krista would watch scary stuff when she was younger and we were out, we would know when we'd come home because every light on the house would be on, every light outside the house would be on. There would be like things tied to the doors to make noise. And I'm like, why didn't you watch that?
Yeah, right. Yeah, especially if it scares you that badly. Yeah, you don't wanna do that. I, yeah, yeah. I watched there was a movie and I couldn't even tell you what it was, and when I read the description of it, it sounded pretty interesting, so I was like, "I'll watch it." It starts to play, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, this is not what I wanna watch." It was a thriller, and I was like, "Yeah, no, not a you shoulda had thriller somewhere on there."
Right,
You know? Why wasn't it marked as a thriller? For those of us who aren't up on our movie
right, right. Oh,
vernacular.
well, I tell you which ones I like. In fact, I started watching. All right, don't laugh too hard. I'll wait till you swallow.
I was just thinking that as you were saying that, I'm like, "Ooh, do I wanna finish this drink or not?"
Oh, yes, this is my speed. I'm watching Bewitched, starting with season 1, episode 1.
I used to like to watch Bewitched when it was on. Yeah.
I like that. I always thought it was just so unfair that we did not have. I mean, I'm like,
Yeah, right?
come it did not do my dishes, and this pile of crap is still here.
Yeah, right, right.
Or I dream of Jeannie, you know, like, I
Yeah,
think I
yeah,
put a
yeah.
crink in my neck as a child trying that.
Right? Yeah. Those are
Uh-huh.
good. I'm still doing my Gunsmoke and, Perry Masons.
They have a new Perry Mason. Are you watching the original or are you watching the
I'm
new
watching the
guy?
original, yeah,
Yeah, okay,
yeah.
yeah. Do you know who I used to like?
Mm.
Ironsides.
Yeah, I think we had this conversation before and you brought that up. And I
Yeah,
think I if I remember right, you'd asked about it and I just I
because
don't
I
know.
had them
I don't think
confused for a minute.
yeah, 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 I was confused as to whether they were the same actor because I didn't care for him in Ironside as much as I did his suave and debonair appeal of the 40s and 50s or whatever year that was.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
but so,
good old days. Good old
we're like in the
days.
middle of the month already. I'm just like going, was it how did that happen? Is it
Yeah, it's flying by, isn't it?
it is. I went we were when we were driving at night, there were houses that had Halloween lights and decorations up. I was like,
Not yet, not yet.
and then I'm thinking, "Ooh, could I put up my Christmas stuff yet?"
No, not yet, not yet. Not before Halloween.
Not
Not
you're
before
right, and my daughter would never forgive me because Halloween is her favorite,
yeah.
even above Christmas holiday.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I like decorating for all the holidays.
yeah,
It's always fun.
yeah.
I even thought about it. I was like, now that Misty's grown up and Shelby's not here, I'm like, do I want to put up all the I'm like, you know what? I did it for me. I was like, yeah, I decorated for me more than I did them. I mean, I knew that they like it was like they tolerated it. Shelby's like, did you buy more decorations? It's like, yeah, why?
Oh,
You
well,
know, and Misty
yeah,
can take it or leave it. So,
okay.
yeah,
She
it was
still
kinda
likes to
funny.
decorate, so that's I'll miss her being here because I won't have the help. When she was younger, she everybody loved to put it out and nobody liked to put it away. Hence my February taking down of the decorations at Super Bowl Sunday, you know, because
Right?
by that time they're all like, "Okay, we'll help put it away."
Yeah, you have
And then it
helpers,
became a tradition.
right?
Oh,
Yeah. No, I don't, especially because, like, I even do the fall, like, I would love to start in August, but I usually don't. I wait till September. I start putting up my fall stuff because I have I put some gourds out and I put up some signs about, the harvest home and things that just would be fallish. Change out, yeah, put up some different things. I put on different tablecloths with like leaf patterns and things, more autumnal colors to lead into, yes, to lead into the fall. And then I slowly bring in the um, Halloween. So then I'll start bringing in the Halloween stuff. And then after Halloween, that goes out and up goes the Thanksgiving. And because they all kind of build on the autumnal thing, right?
we are
So,
gonna be using that word.
yeah, so then, Thanksgiving goes, and then everything gets taken out, and up goes the Christmas stuff, you know?
Yes, we do that probably we used to decorate the tree after Thanksgiving dinner. That we'd have the tree and
Oh,
then
okay.
we'd start decorating that. And then it got to the Friday after. We would, put all the lights and whatnot and
Yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah, we used to do it on Thanksgiving weekend,
yeah.
but, now it's not so stringent. It happens sometimes a little bit later, more into December sometimes. I try not to let it go too long because then I'm kinda like, it's like, oh, if you wait too long, then you put it up and then you got to take it down too soon. Because I don't leave mine up till February. Because February is Valentine's Day and the house goes into a red
Well, then you
theme.
only turn the red lights on. Do you see how that works? You don't necessarily have to take everything down. You just choose the setting that's like, oh, the red. Yes.
There you go. No, I don't have that setting on my tree. So, but yeah, the house kind of segues into a red theme. And then March is a green theme.
Right.
April's
Yeah,
a
Irish.
spring Easter theme. April, May is flower theme. Then June, May is flowers, and then it goes into the
Memorial Day.
patriotic. I
Yes.
put up my red, white, and blue stuff, and that hangs till 4th of July.
Right.
And then after 4th of July, it's autumnal season again.
Oh, yeah. August is just sunny, sunny weather.
Yeah, sunflowers though. August and September always make me think of sunflowers.
Mm.
So what else is new? What's happening with you? So you're home, you're kind of enjoying your space.
I am. I'm enjoying my space. I'm thinking, wow, how did we get to the middle of the month already? I really haven't gotten over that because I'm like, I'm thinking,
I can tell it's weighing on you.
I mean, really, what happened? Krista's wedding seems like it was a blink of an eye, and that was like, oh wait, that was February. I'm still recovering from that in more ways than one.
All right.
But yeah, it just seems to have really just flown by. And school is in session. It's like, wow. And the difference in the traffic with the school and the people are all here
They're back early.
already in the middle
Yeah.
of September.
Yeah, they're back early. Yeah.
Yeah, way early. We were going out last week. Was it last week? I put a video up. Did I ever send it to you? The amount of traffic coming in. I couldn't believe it because we were going
There
east.
are a lot of people living out your way now. Because we
Unbelievable.
used to live at the end of White.
Okay, yes.
Pine Ridge turns into White.
Yeah.
And White's probably not even a half mile long, all right? And then it ends and then it breaks up and it does what yours does. You've got the canals and it's the estate.
Well, it turns and then yeah.
Well, it turns now, but before it used to go
right there where the end was. Okay.
You could go left or right, mostly right, and then
Right.
you'd shoot down not 19th Street, whatever that is. You would shoot down that main road, but it's the estates, it's that same estates type of thing. And I went out there one day to go visit the old homestead and see what things look like. And I was shocked how they had expanded. White is like, what, 6 lanes now or some crazy thing? 4 or 6 lanes. And then it's got this huge curve, so people can just curve around. I guess they don't stop there anymore.
No, there's no stop anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. So they make this big curve and there was just traffic. In fact, I think what prompted me to go down there was I was on Pine Ridge, and now Pine Ridge is 5 lanes. 2 of them are left turn, right?
Yeah.
And the 2 or 3 lanes.
No, 3 of them are left turn now. They put another turn lane in there.
But the other ones that go straight through,
2, yeah.
it was backed up with all this traffic. I'm like, and that's a complete dead end.
Right.
You get back in there, there's no exit. That road, White, is your road in and your road out.
Not anymore.
What do you mean?
Not only White goes down, because I can take White home to my house now.
Oh, they extended it? Where'd they
it goes down, it curves, and then there's a whole development back there. And
Right?
I can take it all the way up to 13th and come out on Golden Gate by the library.
Oh, they did an extension.
I
When
found that
when
out
I
when there
lived
was a
out
big accident on the boulevard. So they were diverting people down 13th by the library, and that's how I just followed everybody in, and then we came back out to Collier.
huh. You're talking on Golden Gate, which is past Pine Ridge, right? It's
Well, no,
south
oh,
of Pine
not
Ridge.
Golden Gate Boulevard, not Golden Gate Parkway, Golden Gate Boulevard,
Right, the one
High
with
Street,
The Hayes
and
Park.
13th. Do you know where that library is?
Yeah, and there's like Hayes Park is there.
I don't know. Um, on 13th and Golden Gate Boulevard, if you go south, it'll take you down to, I don't know the name of the street, but they've, and again, the planning of people, and I guess they did this so that people don't go 50 or 60 miles down that residential street like they do on the boulevard, but they put palm trees out in the street, and you have to go like,
Oh, just a circle. Yeah,
it's not a circle even, it
they've
just
done a
narrows the
few of
road.
those. Have you seen down by, Neapolitan Way and stuff? They put some in there too.
Well, these aren't circles, these are just the way they formed the road so
Right,
that
it goes, but it's like a half circle. It's like a half circle. The trees are in the middle and there's like a half circle. You have to go
no, the
around them.
trees on the one on this road, the trees are on the outside, so it narrows the road down.
Oh,
Like so like two people can't actually go easily through it, and it does it 5 or 6 times
oh.
down that road.
Because I was gonna say they did a thing where they put like these little circles. They're not big circles. They're just enough to where you have to slow down to go around the trees.
Mm,
But you know what? I haven't been over that way because when I lived there, there was the one road in and one road out. There was only
right,
white.
right. Well, and now have you seen, they have not
Because
started
when I took
paving
Misty to that,
Vanderbilt yet, but Vanderbilt is completely cleared and flattened the
is that
whole way out. Like if you go up Wilson, you can look up either side, and they have just, everything is flattened. It's like
oh,
it's going to probably be a 4 or 5 lane road both ways. Like, I mean, not
right?
both
There's
ways, but like 2 lanes each way.
yeah, because they've been doing some
Yeah.
building out there. They've got a couple new communities down Vanderbilt out there.
Oh, it's going to be something.
Huh.
And
Yeah,
I
I'll
feel
have
bad
to
for the
maybe check
people
it
whose
out.
properties are right next to it, because we were going and looking, and it's like, oh my gosh, you bought out there, and now here's your home,
Yeah,
and here's going to be this major road, a 4 or 5 lane road,
all right.
but
Yeah.
no way else of
Hey,
getting those people
Ruth.
in. Oh,
Hello.
yay! I
We're
was
just
just texting with Ruth, and congratulations, Ruth got her raindrop therapy certification completion certificate. And I am so excited, so that when I
yay.
get to see her next time, I'm going to go, hey, let's do some raindrop.
Congratulations,
I
Ruth.
know. I'm so
I
excited
knew
for her.
this. Um,
So, yay. Yes. So they're going to probably be getting cold up there up north soon. Somebody texted me that it was 53 degrees uh, where they were in Ohio yesterday. And I was thinking, wow, it was 73 at my house this morning, and I wore my fuzzy robe.
I need to position myself. My face, the chat's right in the middle of my face.
Oh, she says, yes, it was cool this morning. Good. Yep. Yeah.
Very cool. Can I move these? Trying to move things around. So yeah, I guess I'll have to take a drive out there and check things out, see what that looks like over there because yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah,
They had
lots of
changed all that.
changes, lots of traffic. In fact,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's a ton I was surprised. Like I said, I was really, really surprised at how much traffic was going down White. But now it makes sense because if there's a way through there and out the other end somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so it curves and it curves onto 13th. Is that 13th? Yeah.
You know
13th
where
Street
it curves
Southwest.
right after 25th? Okay, so it goes out to 25th and then it curves to the south.
Well, I'm talking White. So
Yeah,
White turns on to 25th.
White. The last place you can turn to go north to get to Golden Gate is 25th, but you can go over the canal and it turns to the right, and then you go down, I don't know, maybe a mile, and you make a left on, I only know the streets by, oh, that's that mailbox, I'm going to turn
Right?
there. And then it takes you out again, and goes a long way, but I turn on 13th to come back to
Because
Golden
there
Gate.
was a canal there. Because yeah, you
Yeah.
go over that bridge, and that's where they put that turn in, which looks like a
Right,
super highway for out there.
right.
And so yeah, so I would make that turn, and then the first left is where I would go to get to my place, which was on 21st or 19th Street, 19th Street. And but you're saying if you stay on it and you keep going straight after you make that curve and you keep going straight. There used to be did they put a bridge in? Because there used to be a canal there.
I don't know. Oh, the only other time I only know that particular way. And one time we went out with our friends Michelle and Jeremy because they had a better vehicle than, because it turned into dirt road, and you can go quite a long ways.
Because I
And there's
remember,
lots of houses there now.
you know what? Now yeah, you know what? I had a client out there, and I remember where she told me, and it was back there because I remember making the turn and going all the way to the end and then making a right because again the canal there was a canal there's canals there and there wasn't I don't remember a bridge being there and I remember turning and there was a string of houses there and I was like when did these go in because I remember when it must have been forever ago when we lived there 25 years I
Oh
well
yeah, no,
Misty's
lots of
26
changes
so
since then.
Misty's 26 so we had Misty when we were living out there so 26 years ago we I went snooping around to see what was around because, you know, like I said, it was pretty landlocked there. You had that one road in, one road out. So one time I drove down to the end, and that was all dirt road at that time. Got to the mound of dirt that keeps people from driving into the canal. And I made a right because it was a dirt road. Oh, there was a ton of mailboxes. I remember there was like 30 mailboxes that sat at the end of that road. And I was like, whose mailboxes are those? And so I thought I'd see who they belonged to. So I turned right and it didn't look like it does now. Cause like now it looks like a residential road where houses and lawns and stuff. When I turned down that 26 years ago, it was more like Deliverance back there.
Oh my God, you read my mind. I was just thinking that.
It was woods. There were houses hidden in the woods with big chains across the things and warnings about dogs and guns. And, you know, there was just some crazy stuff. I was like, I don't think I really want to know who owns those mailboxes.
Right,
I think I'm going to
right.
go back home.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, so when I went there to her house, I was really shocked. I was like, wow, they've kind of cleared this all out here. And I remember her saying that that's been a number of years now, too. That's probably been 10 years. And she said there was a planned community going in back in there somewhere. So
Yeah.
yeah, they must have expanded out a lot
Yeah,
since.
it's really, And okay, this is Mike and I had a long discussion about this because there was an article and expose, I guess, on not just Arizona, but around the world, but especially in places like Arizona where the ground is actually cracking because they're using the groundwater faster than the earth can replenish it because the groundwater holds up the
Mhm.
earth in those places and huge fissures going across because it's not really meant for a place that was supposed to be green. But
Right.
so I'm like, oh, I think about that with South Florida because we rely on our groundwater and
Yeah,
we're
we messed
right,
our aquifers up when, because they when they brought in the Civil Corps and they, um, put in all those canals throughout the estates, they had to break the caprock to do it, and when they broke that caprock, that is what held the Everglades water in place, and it
right,
also allowed for the filtering for the aquifers. And so, even though they've tried to buy back a lot of the estate property and they're filling in those canals, unfortunately, there's no way to put the caprock back, you
right.
know? So,
Yeah. Yes, yes. No longer a river of grass.
I haven't heard the follow-up yet, but you know what I heard was after did we had a storm recently, right? With a lot of
Yes.
water.
Ian.
Was it Ian?
Hmm.
I
Well, we
wanna
just
I
had,
don't know if it was
no, what was the
Ian.
last one? We just had
Oh,
one.
yeah, I was gonna say we had a storm just recently, and it wasn't Ian,
What was the one?
and
Because it landed up further. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. You got me.
not Adelia. Was it Adelia? Did we get a
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
we
yes.
did.
Adelia.
Yeah, we did. We got a lot of rain off of Adelia. Adelia's, water flooded out, some communities down here, right? And did you hear that there's a couple and I can't remember what community it was. It was, like, up by Bonita and, um, not Spanish Wells, but Bonita, Fort Myers, Estero area. They, the water they have a weir in their community, and that holds the water in, so it kind of that's how they have a lake. Their lake in their community is the result of a weir. Are you familiar with those? Those are those
Can you spell
they're
the
like
word?
dikes.
Because I'm not getting it.
It's W oh, WARE. Where? That's not how it's spelled. But anyway, it's you see them all over town. They're the little dikes. They're
Okay.
cement dikes, and they can let the water in and out as they need
Okay.
it.
Hmm.
So this community has one in their community, and that's how they have their lake. And so the county must control the water with this weir there. And the water, and usually it's like attached to a deep canal or a river, right? And the manatees, the water got so high that the manatees got into that little lake area. And then when the water went down, they got trapped behind the weir. And they were like, "Well, we'll move them." I guess the area, county, whoever was in charge of it, they're like wildlife said that they would get to them and move them, but for the moment, they were just gonna leave them because they seemed quite happy. They had enough water. They were eating lots of vegetation, but it was 2 adults and 2 juveniles, and one of the juveniles was really little. So it was a whole little pod,
I
a
didn't
manatee
see
pod.
that. That's so sweet. Oh my
Isn't
gosh.
it?
I would love that. We did when Krista was, I guess, a young teenager. She was maybe 11 or 12. We went to Indian River and we got to swim with the manatee.
Aw.
Yeah, that was really a nice experience. And they're just gentle and they're so,
Yeah, they are.
yeah. Even though I had one eye out for alligators the whole time, you know.
Here you go. Weir, Weir, a low dam built across a river to raise the level of the water upstream.
Thank you. I have learned something to put in my
Yep.
vocabulary
Yeah,
today.
you see it around different areas, especially if you're driving 41
Well,
out
I'm
towards
wondering if that's what
Miami.
these are called, like along Golden Gate. And not every block, but lots of the blocks, they have a whole empty, it's an empty couple of acres that is low. Like,
Mhm.
and you know that it must be something like that. It's definitely for
Um,
overflow of
you
water.
see them along like 41,
Hmm.
not 41, 951 if you're going up and down Collier.
Yes.
Those big cement, those are big ones, but those big cement dams, those are weirs.
Okay. Oh,
So they
like I
come
think there's then one right out at the end of Golden Gate and Collier
mhm,
because there's nothing else
right, there's,
there for
yeah,
that.
you'll see them if you take 41 out to Miami.
I'm going to use that word. I'm going to go, oh, look at that where.
There's the
And
weir.
Michael will be like, what?
I think they need
Where?
to release the water out of the weir, through the weir.
It's another where word. I
Yeah.
mean, English, right? Are you wearing something special to go to the where?
We've got another friend visiting. Hi, Anya.
Okay. And oh, it's Anya. My niece. Hi, Anya. Happy Friday. Thanks for popping on. She's in New York, so I'm thinking it's getting chilly there too. So yay.
Chili.
Yes. But speaking of the, like when I was doing the reading with the young gentleman yesterday, and it's like it is confusing. Like when you say, "What will I wear? Where is the where? And what will I wear to go to the where?" Right?
Just don't open it and let the floodgates out.
Nothing to do with me, by the way.
So,
Oh, okay. Anya says it's chilly there too this morning. Okay,
I
yeah, it's changing. Oh,
yep, she says, "Yes, it is."
yeah. Soon
Um,
I'll have to get my winter clothes out.
yeah, and, yeah, don't push it. I don't think it's gonna happen for a little while longer yet. Although it has been feeling a little cooler. I will say this, when I take and when I go out to the car, take Misty to work, and I open up my car, I get a blast of cool air. So it's getting cooler in the evening.
Yes, yes, because it's no longer you're not going, oh, I have to get in there. Open all the doors first and let's turn the air on, let it blow out, then we'll get in.
Yep. Another animal update. Did I
Okay.
tell you? I told you about the flamingos on Sanibel, right?
You did? Yes.
Somebody posted on one of the social media about the flamingos because they're seeing them all up and down the coast.
Okay.
And they are saying that they're thinking they're from the Caribbean, that they got caught in the Idalia storm because I guess they have a tendency to fly and get caught in storms and get thrown off course. And so that's why there's flamingos up and down the coast of Florida right now.
Oh, but they're so beautiful.
I hope they stay.
Yeah, that would be really, really nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we used to have flamingos.
Oh, I didn't
So, yeah,
realize
so it'd
that.
be nice if nature repopulated our flamingo colonies. Wouldn't that be cool?
And,
So
and what
Mother
better place
Nature is
to live
so
than
cool.
Sanibel, right? I mean, they picked a good spot.
Yep, yep. Yeah, Mother Nature, she knows how to take care of things.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does.
As much as we disrupt it, as much
Oh,
as we
it's true.
do things to it, it just has a natural state of well-being, right? Like everything would, right?
Well, I'm open and yes, and that we like when we were talking about the huge oaks, like just stop cutting down the trees, people. How do you think the rain cycle works? It needs the trees, and it needs all of
Right.
those
Well,
things.
Collier County, I'll give it that. They've been really good about enforcing that, because they have tree policies here. People cannot just arbitrarily chop down trees. They have to replenish them somewhere else or replant them or work around them.
Or pay a
Certain
huge fine, which I've know that people were like, "I don't care, I'll just pay the fine, I don't want that."
Well, it's not just a fine. It's not just a fine. They have
Oh,
to replace the trees. They
oh,
have
they
to. Oh, yeah, they enforce it because
with the same size tree?
yep.
Because that's the problem.
Usually same
Yeah,
size. It is dependent on, whether or not the tree can survive in that space, so, sometimes I think they have to change the variety. But I know, like, for, um, communities, especially like HOAs, each property has to have a shade tree. A canopy tree. They name them by canopy. They have to have a canopy. So it's not enough to put, because like, in the community I moved out of, you had all these people from the East Coast up north moving down. First thing they wanna do is chop down all the trees on their property and put up palm trees. Well, you can't do that. You have to maintain at least one canopy on your property.
okay. I like that. I like that,
That's
and I
why
mean,
a lot of
I
the,
love palm trees, and that was always when I would be driving down from up north, and then you'd start to see coming through, like, Georgia or South Carolina, the trees start, turning to palm, and you can smell the ocean a bit, and then I always love that, but we need a variety. I mean, that's what makes the
right,
world work. Yeah.
right, and, that's why a lot of the shopping malls, the parking lots, that's why a lot of parking lots, they have trees in them, is because they have to maintain trees on those lots for canopy.
Yeah, and I know everybody is now like me where it's like, where's the tree I can park under?" Yeah.
Right? Yeah, right. Yeah, that's another good byproduct of that is, but yeah, plant a tree.
Yes, the only downside of parking under trees in parking lots is that all the birds wanna sit in those trees too.
I thought you were gonna say some of the trees down here like to they're as bad as birds, some of them.
Yeah. What is it? The black olive tree, I know is, lots and lots of those tiny leaves, but also their roots. The first house I ever owned, that was one of the problems was the black olive tree's roots went right down and, like, actually broke the pipe from the house to the sewer line,
Yeah.
and, and
Yeah, see, that's like I said, sometimes, when you take down a tree, the county takes into account that, certain trees can't go into certain areas. So
right,
they're like, anywhere on the property. If you're gonna take that tree out, then you have to put another one somewhere on the property,
right,
you
right,
know?
right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, good old Mother Nature. Gotta love her. Love her, love her. Love all the plants and birds. We've started to get, a group of ibis hanging out here at our place. And they started out, there was one, and he was kind of hanging out, and then a couple more. Now they've got a little group going. They've got about 5 of them, and they were all playing in the water the other day. And
Yeah, they're
I love
community orientated, those birds.
they are, and I love to watch them go through because they maintain the lawns, they get rid of all the bugs that are in the lawns, and they aerate them, and, they're really good for the environment from that standpoint. Um, was it you that we were talking about those birds the other day, about them being in trees? So you don't really want them roosting what is it, roosting? Doing the roosting thing because there was, a tree, and I don't know what they did, how they moved them on, if it was a natural thing or not, but there was a big, huge tree on the lake by Lely off of 41. You could see this huge tree, and the ibis decided that they were gonna roost there. And so every night the tree would just fill up with these birds, which was really cool to see this whole tree all white with birds. But
Right.
unfortunately, during the day, they'd leave to go do what They do, and the tree would just be covered in white crap. Bird poop all over it, the whole tree. I was like, "Ooh, oopsie." Hopefully they don't roost here. Go somewhere else and roost.
Oh, well, I have not seen that side effect, but I do believe that it would be one that could be a little bit tricky to maneuver around.
Yeah, yeah. Up north, oh gosh, it was funny. We were when I used to live up in Michigan, they get Canada geese. There's just
Oh,
flax and flax, and they used to migrate, but now they don't migrate so much. You'll find that there's huge flax that just kind of stay put. So they have to relocate them sometimes because they can during nesting season. I don't know if you know this about birds, but during nesting season, the females will hold their bowel movements because they're sitting on the nest so long. So
okay.
they're holding that. And then when they get relief from the male, they leave and then they let go. And it's a huge mess, right? It's huge. It's bigger than the little ones that they usually do. So during nesting season, when you have Canada geese, which are big birds, they're what,
Yes.
like 20 pounds or some crazy thing. So they're big birds. And this one office building I worked at, we had a lake behind it. So the Canada geese were hanging out and they would get out and they'd walk through the parking lot. And that's where they would go to the bathroom because they didn't want to go near the nesting area. Right. And so it was so bad. There was poop everywhere. And one time I was looking out and I'm like, you guys, I think they need to do something with the Canada geese because it's getting really bad in the parking lot. And as I'm saying this, I felt bad. I'm laughing, but I felt bad at the time. This one girl was walking through with her high heels and she hit one of the piles and she went down. It was like, oh no. She got up, you could just see she was like, the whole mannerisms of, I am covered in shit. Yeah, turn around and go home.
Oh my
You
gosh.
need
Yes.
you need to
Yes.
change your clothes, honey. So they did. They relocated them not too long after that. I think after the breeding, after
Yeah.
the little guys grew up.
Yeah. You figure, because we do talk about this, it is like for thousands of years, or even if it's just hundreds of years, that's been their spot. Never a problem. It's just that we happen to move into the neighborhood.
Yeah, well, these guys, we built the lake and they moved in.
Oh, build it and they will
Yeah,
come. Oh my
yeah,
God.
yeah, because it was a retention pond.
Okay.
And, yeah, because like I said, the Canada
Well,
geese
that was like an
normally
invitation.
I
What do you,
know,
you know?
I know. Canada geese, they used to migrate more often, but they don't as much
Right.
anymore.
When my grandparents lived in Connecticut and in Greenwich, and there was a park, and that was always the thing that certain times of the year as a kid, you were not allowed to run through the grass because of that very reason. It
Right.
was like, nope, stay on and they'd rather you walk where the cars are than to run through the grass because you'd come home. Nobody wanted you in the car.
Yeah, right, right. Oh, and dogs love to roll in it.
Ooh,
Our golden retriever, oh my god, they would just smell out a pile of goose shit, and they would go over, and they would just start rubbing in it, and then they just reeked, and they'd have it all smeared
that's
in there,
worse
and
than
it's
skunk.
like, "Oh, man." So, yeah, you had to really watch, especially during breeding season, nesting
Oh
season.
gosh. Yeah,
The
dogs.
dogs.
What is it about dogs that they love that? But I just saw the time
Mm.
and I have to pop off.
Oh,
So
my
on
god.
that fabulous note of dogs and and goose poop, I love you.
Yeah, and goose poop.
Thanks,
Happy goose poop
everybody.
to everybody. Take
I'll
care,
see you
sweetie.
next
Have a great
time.
week.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.